Good morning, guys. It is a great day to be in room 625. It is. For today, we are going to spend one more day dividing decimals by whole numbers or dividing with a decimal in the dividend. So this is the same topic as your assignment for Monday. This video is now for Tuesday. So I thought I would just run through a couple more examples if it's not making sense to you. And if you remember, we have 3 steps for dividing decimals when we're dividing by a whole number. Step 1 is to move the decimal straight up. Step 2 is to divide like normal. And step 3 is, if necessary, we are going to add zeros to the dividend until we get 0 as our remainder. So our first problem here, we have 4,537 and 8/10 divided by 6. So step 1, we check, can 6 go into 4? It cannot, so then I have to move on to my next number. Can 6 go into 45? Yes, it can, 7 times. 7 times 6 is 42. I subtract, I get 3. I bring down my next 3. And if you forget the steps, remember that second week of school, we had that mnemonic device, that saying that says, does McDonald's serve burgers? Does McDonald's serve burgers? And it stood for divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. I went blank there for a second. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So I divided 6 into 45 7 times, and then I multiplied. 7 times 6 is 42. Now I subtracted, and then I brought down. Now I divide again. How many times does 6 go into 33? 6 goes into 33 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. I subtract. I get 3. I bring down. Divide again. 6 goes into 37 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. I subtract. I get 1. And I made the same mistake I made last video. I get so excited to teach you guys again. I forget the first step. It doesn't matter if you do it the first step, as long as you do it. We have to make sure we bring that decimal point straight up. I forget to do that. Do as I say, not as I do. Bring that decimal point straight up so you don't forget about it. Now it's time for me to bring down my last number, which is my 8. And that's an ugly 8. Let's try that again. And 6 goes into 18 3 times. I subtract, and I get a 0. So my goal is I'm going to keep dividing until I get a 0 down here. So my answer to the problem 4,537 and 8/10 divided by 6 is 756 and 3/10. And I will make my decimal. I can't tell how easy you can see that on camera. Right there. So that was example number 1. Example number 2 says 24 and 6/10 divided by 5. Step 1, I'm not going to forget this time, so watch, is to move my decimal point straight on up. When Mr. Williams taught us, he had a dumb song he'd sing, straight up, straight on up. Would you want to know about me if I was someone else? Sing it every single time. I won't. Step 1, 5 cannot go into 2, so I move it over to my next digit. 5 goes into 24 4 times. I'm dividing. Now I need to multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. Now I need to subtract and then bring down. 5 goes into 46 9 times. And before I forget, I uploaded it a little late today, but I put it on both Mondays and Tuesdays. Under Mondays and Tuesdays header for this week's module, I included a multiplication chart. So if you were having trouble multiplying, that's there. If I was you, I would open that up, either save it as a photo or screenshot it, and that way you can have, if you want to, you can split screen, so you have Notability on one side and your photo of your multiplication chart on the other side, or you can swipe back and forth between screens if you need to, but I did upload a multiplication chart for you in order to help you. That will be one of our top goals when we get back, is to work on our multiplication facts, because some of us are struggling on those, and it is, I would say, the number one thing you need to know in order to do well in 6th grade math. Back to here. 9 times 5 is 45. I subtract, I get 1. This is a ruh-roh raggy moment. My goal when I divide is always get a 0 down here. I don't want to have a remainder, and I'll talk more about that later this week, but I want a 0 down here. I'm going to keep on dividing until I get a 0 here. I don't have a 0 here. So if you look back to our steps, step 1, move the decimal up. We did that. Step 2, we're dividing like normal so far. Step 3 says, if necessary, to add zeros to the dividend. So I am, since this is not a 1, or it is a 1, not a 0, I am going to add a 0 to my dividend and bring it down. 5 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 5 is 10. I subtract, I get 0. Now I have a 0 down here. Now I'm done. So if you don't have a 0 and you're out of numbers, you will need to continue adding zeros until you get a 0 down here at the bottom. That will let you know that you're done. Okay, one last example. Let's scoot on over so we can see a little bit better. There we go. We have 32 and 5/10 divided by 4. 4 cannot go into 3, but I know 4 can go into 32. Oh, I forgot my first step. We'll pretend like I meant to do that to test you guys. Before I do anything else, we need to move our decimal up. I'm going to move this up. 4 can't go to 3. As I was explaining before, I realized I forgot that first step. 4 does go to 32 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. I subtract, I get 0. I bring down my 5. 4 goes into 5 1 times. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract, I get 1. That's not a 0. I don't have any more numbers to bring down, so it is time for me to add a 0 and bring it down. 4 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. I subtract, I get 2. Still not a 0, so I have to continue adding zeros until I get a 0 down here. So I'm adding another 0 in my dividend, bring it down. 4 goes into 25 times. That is 20. I subtract, I get 0. My answer is 8 and 125 thousandths. So there are 3 more examples. Hopefully those helped you out. Today, make sure you do your assignment. Make sure you are showing all of your work. I had probably a handful of kids submit an assignment with the answers, but no work. And I messaged you back saying you will not receive your full credit until you show your work. It is very crucial that you show your work because A, it helps me find your mistakes and it helps me figure out how to teach you better. And B, I need to make sure you guys aren't just using a calculator and typing it in. If all I get are 10 correct answers with no work being shown, then I'm going to assume you either copied off somebody or using calculators. So you can either show your work on Notability or do it on a piece of paper, take a picture and send that to me. I need to see your work one way or the other. Besides that, hopefully you guys had a great weekend. This is from Monday or for Tuesday, but I'm filming it on Monday. So hopefully you had a great weekend. Hopefully you had a great Monday. And we are almost through e-learning, only a few more days left. So do your work and email me if you have any questions. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.